What's going on YouTube? Earth Power here. Gorby's on camera.
What up?
And it is the night before, I guess, we leave for the Ohio KMC. So the night before the night of the Ohio KMC. And we have a deck profile for you. So, a lot of you have been asking for this one. It's the Naya deck, the Naya Blitz deck that we had a match with. CVH played this against your Doom Blast aggro.
He did.
About a week ago on the channel.
There's the full list, guys.
There it is. This is pretty much the list that CVH was running at the time, minus a few changes here and there. I think he was only running like 2 elves back then. I think he was running a Cinder Moss Courts. We were doing like 3 containment fields. And
just a couple other changes.
Yeah. But we've cleaned up the deck list a little bit. There's still some changes that I think I'd like to make, and we'll get into that as we start profiling it. So, first section is light. Your main Enforcer line, the Magris, the Cloudwalker, and a real quick note, just the cards that sort of made this deck what it is, and like the idea behind it was Metal Max and Blitzermech Falcora. Metal Max being another Enforcer that's also a 2-drop and also huge for the power.
3,500 base.
Yeah, and it can get bigger with Starforge, and then Blitzermech, the card that swings in and fast attacks, tap stuff. It's a shock and awe on like steroids.
Yeah.
But the Enforcer line, to kind of go back to light, we also got Blinder Beetle Prime, which was a huge highlight when we saw this guy in the previews. Everybody was super hype on it, and it's proving to live up to that hype. It's doing exactly what we thought it was gonna do. You know, come down, double tap 2 cards. It's almost a free double break. I mean, unless they have more than 2 blockers, like this guy's coming through, and as early as turn 5, like I can guarantee he'll usually get his double break in. So. Very nice, so especially like followed up with Blitzermech too. It's just craziness going on. So, but yeah, the light line, we've got the 3 Maggers, the 3 Cloudwalker drone going up to 25 when you have other Enforcers in the battle zone.
Which there are plenty of. I mean,
yes,
6 more right there.
Yeah, Swordhorn, Metal Max, more Magris, and etc. Blinder Beetle Prime, we just talked about. 3 Keeper of Laws, crucial for the control matchup and anything just heavy spell-wise. Like, you can summon this guy and all of a sudden breaking those shields is just so much easier. If they do try to deal with your creatures with Shield Blast, you're getting advantage in the hand to kind of hit them back with on your next turn, so on the crackback, if you will. So, crazy stuff going on there with Laws. Love it. And then 2 Containment Field, like I said, we were running 3 originally, went down to 2. Didn't think 3 was completely necessary. You'll notice it's the only Shield Blast in the deck. And it's Rush. You don't need Shield Blast. Like, it's not a thing that Rush decks require. If you're starting to get attacked, like, you're probably losing. And that Containment Field isn't going to help win it for you. Or Star Spark or whatever. Like, if you're losing with Rush, you're losing. Like, it's just happening. So Containment Field is there, you drop it from the hand, and it just kind of gives you that final edge, tap all their blockers down, and then just go on with your army and game them. Fire section is interesting. I like it a lot, though. We've got 3 Flame Spinner to benefit off the card of Jump Jets and Blitzermech. Blitzermech being your only card that actually has fast attack and its
Jet
ability.
Thrust.
And Jet Thrust. Oh yeah, okay, so Jet Thrust and Blitzermech. I'm a hee-haw. But
you heard it here first, people.
Blitzermech and Jet Thrust give Flame Spinner the ability to fast attack while you have other fast attackers on board. So using those 2, you can get his fast attack. But then you've got a card like Jump Jets too. So you summon Flame Spinner, summon another creature, activate Jump Jets, and all of a sudden you have 2 fast attackers on board that were originally just 2 vanilla creatures. So, very cool stuff. I like what Jump Jets does. And then it benefits off the card of a Starseed Squadron, which powers up everything by 2,000 when you cast a spell. And then everything that has 6,000 or more power double breaks. So, very neat stuff going on with that.
Which is a lot of stuff.
Yeah, everything's huge in this deck. And a lot of its base power, like... Yeah. With just 1 spell in the Starseed, gets it over that 6,000 power benchmark, and then you've just got an army of double breakers, which is nuts.
Yeah.
The only nature card we're running here so far is Essence Elf. We were running 2, we're up to 3 now, because it's just amazing. And on that note, as our only nature card, our only like solid nature card, the thought is to take out Starseed in I guess, turn 4 Moonhowler Tribe, another 2-drop, or just another 2-drop in general. I don't know, maybe something else other than Moonhowler, but a 2-drop generally in nature to kind of curve out your nature mana a little bit and give you that extra 2-drop that you might need, because you can get mana screw with this deck every now and then. Like, we're running a ton of multi-civs, and a lot of our multi-civs are 2-drops, like our key 2-drops that we want to drop in Weaponized Razor Cat and Metal Max. So getting mana screw can happen, and if that does happen, you miss your 2-drop, and it's crucial not to miss the 2-drop if you've missed the 1-drop in Rush.
Yeah,
so,
which happens. I mean,
it does. Yeah. And Starseed requires so much setup anyways. Like, you've got to not only have the creatures on board to benefit off of the Starseed, you've also have to have the spell to follow up Starseed with. So it's just like...
Which with only 5 in the deck, it's kind of...
Exactly, and like 2 turns of progression in a Rush deck is kind of hard to do. Yeah.
So, it's not a terrible card, it just hasn't lived up to expectations.
Right, it's really hard to live the dream, guys. So,
yeah.
As Thundersoul would say. So...
But now, moving into the multi-civs, we touched on Starseed.
Yep, the main 2-drops, Weaponized Razor Cat, Metal Max, these are the ideal 2-drops that you want to be dropping in, I guess, Essence Elf, and
in lieu
of Essence Elf and Cloudwalker Drone. These guys are huge, really difficult to deal with early game. The only cards that answer them this early are Strider, Lemon, if they can drop it the turn 3 after you drop Metal Max, but, I mean, those cards are trading with these cards, and you've got so much balance, and you've got cards like Essence Elf to power them up even more. It's just these cards are really difficult to deal with early game just because of their raw power. So, and that's what gives this deck an edge.
That's the whole idea. Is just you have a bunch of little stuff that's gigantic.
Yeah, just incredibly hard to deal with early game.
Speaking of gigantic early things,
Swordhorn.
Right.
And if you that's
card
another
that gave CVH a panic attack when it was spoiled.
Right. And that's another cool thing that this deck can do too with Starseed is if you have the progression of Essence Elf to Swordhorn to Starseed, Swordhorn double breaks on turn 4, like because it has 6,500 power thanks to the Essence Elf, and all Starseed's requirement for overpower is that a creature just has to have 6,000 more power to get double breaker.
That was a bad shot.
So with Essence Elf, Swordhorn, and the Starseed, you're double breaking on turn 4, which is kind of crazy with a 6,500 beat stick, which I can't think of any major control cards that can deal with that before turn 6 or 7. So that's nuts. And then the card that I think made this entire deck possible, Blitzermech Falcora. Like I said, it's a shock and awe on steroids. Like, fast attacking, tap something when it swings.
It's bigger than shock and awe.
This card deals... Like, I like to think of cards like how they trade and their interactions with other cards. Like, this guy deals with 2 creatures on board, technically. It provides you 2 creatures on board, because it's tapping a blocker down, which is dealing with that one. So it's providing that one creature that would go up against that other creature. And then it's also got the body of... It's other, like it's attacking with. So you're tapping a blocker. If they have another blocker, they have to block with that one. So Falcora deals with 2 blockers on its own, and then the rest of your guys go in. Like, it's crazy to think about. Like, we were doing some math and some testing games with Gorby, and I was just like, well, do you have Falcora? Because like I had like 3 blockers on board. He had like a creature on board, and I don't know what else you had, but it was just like doing the math out. It was just like drop Falcora and go in, tap a blocker. The other blocker has to block, and then, I've got a game on board. You're right. He thought all hope was lost, and then Falcora just kind of brings it back. So this card's nuts. Very, very, very good card. And
still haven't pulled any.
Yeah.
I want them.
Tears. Your box was amazing.
True. The box was amazing. Would have been better with Falcora, though.
But yeah, awesome card, and just kind of rounds out this deck perfectly. It just fits into the groove of things. You drop your army and then just follow it with a Falcora to go in for game. And it's just the Nutter Butters. Shoutouts to Jared Dockstader.
And last but certainly not least,
Starforge Chords literally powers up everything in this deck outside of the mono nature cards. The 3 Essence Elf. Potentially 2 Moon Howler if I put them in. But yeah, powers up everything at least by 1,000. Blitzermech goes up to 45. Metal Max goes up to 55. You've got Blinder Beetle Primes at 7,000 power. Magus is at 1,500 and can actually kill stuff. Like what? Like,
surprise.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like Starforge Quartz does a lot for this deck, but I only like it as the one of because you don't necessarily need the power. It's nice in certain situations, but I think outside of like a mirror match or like against other rushes where you just want your stuff to be a little bit bigger, you're really not going to play this guy. You're going to play the Blitz or mech or just your other turn 4 fast plays to just kind of put game on the board. It's a very set up situational card, but I like it for what it does in those situations, which is why it's a 1-up. So, and that's the deck. So
pretty straightforward.
Pan out. It's super fun. I'm having a great time. We've tested it a bunch. It's just a load of fun to play. It feels so much different than other rushes. It feels like, you know, you've got a little more of an edge. Like the deck's just not going to lose straight out. Like if it just gets a crap hand, it can kind of pull itself away from that. It's got a ton of stuff, like a ton of variation. It's got laws, so I mean, if your hand is absolute butt against control, you just summon the laws and then hope for the best, and maybe things will work out. So it's a lot of fun. I've enjoyed it. So, hope you guys are satisfied. Leave a comment down below. Let us know what you think. If you've been testing stuff like this, I know Russell Coker topped with one in the ARG Circuit Series. So shout outs to him. And let us know what you guys think of this build, I guess, compared to that. And then if you've tested anything like this, any changes you might make, any cards you might add. Shout outs to Matt Segura too for giving us the initial idea for this deck. He built it out of a bunch of stuff that CDH had laying around on the table, and we've sort of been playing around with it and refining it from there. So shout outs to him. And other than that, I think that's it. Check out the social links below, Facebook, Twitter, all that fun stuff, and hopefully, guys, we'll see you next time.
Peach.